Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Sorry I've been away for so long. In my next video, I'm actually going to talk more about why I've been away. But I just want to get into this review today. This is not a sponsored video, unless you count my wife as a sponsor, because she's the one that purchased this device for me. This is the AICE3 by Ranvoo. It's a portable smart neck air conditioner. Sounds a little weird, I know, but at the end of the video, I promise you'll completely understand what this device does and how it can help. So first things first, let's just take a quick look at the box, because presentation can be important for some people, although it's not that important for me, as long as the product works good. So the box itself has like a kind of an iridescent or a matte finish, almost like a brushed aluminum look. I actually kind of like it. Has the company branding on the front with the name of the device. And you're going to turn it over and you can see the company branding on the other side. You also notice the angles of the lid, which is very different. I've never seen a box with kind of asymmetrical angles before. It's kind of neat. I also like the red trim. Turn it over and it's going to give you a couple of tidbits of information. The model number, FG7. What it is, a wearable smart air conditioner, the package dimensions, and the product weight, which is 1.2 pounds. Honestly, it doesn't feel that heavy, but we'll get into that here in a second. Here it also tells you that your results may vary of the cooling effects, the heating effects, and the battery life, and I'll get into all of that. It's really cool. It has a toll-free number, and it also has all of the information for contact info right on the box, which is not something you see very often on high-end products. This device was not cheap. It's actually $350 US, but there is a 10% discount code, and I will put that down in the description along with the link of where you can purchase this from. Again, it's not a sponsored video, but I believe in supporting small businesses, and that's what I'm doing for my part. So let's go. All right, so first thing you see when you open the box is this cool mountain scenery with some snow. I would imagine this is probably somewhere in China, but I don't know for sure. And this is an actual box that is going to contain a few things. The first thing, this will actually be in plastic, but I threw away the plastic already. This is a drawstring pouch that you're going to put this in for travel and things like that. It's got the embossed AICE Ranvoo writing on it. Kind of feels almost like a rubbery texture on the inside. A little bit different, almost feels like rayon or something like that. This will help protect it from scratches. And then you have some booklets on the inside and some other information, which I'll briefly show you. Get into this big book first. It's going to give you some information about the company itself, what the other products they've come out with, and how long they've been in business. A little bit of information about the device itself, the technology behind it, which is semiconductors, which are very efficient at cooling. Also ultra cool aluminum plates, which I'll show you that as well. 360-degree air outlets. And here's some specifications. So you have a 1.9-inch color LED screen. There is a 7,000 milliamp hour battery inside this device, which is going to give you approximately 2.5 hours to 2 hours of runtime for maximum cooling, 4.5 to 6.5 hours for heating, and 12 hours if you're just using the fan. 3.5 to 6.5 hours for standard cooling mode. Charge time is only 2.5 hours with a 20 watt fast charger. You have fan speed of 6,200 to 7,000 RPMs times 2, because there's one fan on each side of the device. And the operating temperatures, 32 degrees to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see, because it's going to get hotter in California than that on a couple of days, so I will definitely be testing it in the most extreme heat. Next, we're going to have some safety guidelines, and I really encourage you to read this through because this will tell you what you should and shouldn't do and how to maintain it and how to properly take care of the device. Again, it's kind of an expensive investment, so you definitely want to take care of it. And then this is a quick reference guide or a quick start guide. It's going to tell you where to download the app. This app is compatible with Android and iOS. The operating system on the device itself is Matara, and the app is also Matara. First thing on the top here is going to say to charge the device 100% before you use it the first time. That's to primarily break in the battery, and also you don't want to drain the battery before it's fully charged because it needs to know when it's fully charged. Piece of foam on the inside, and in here you have the system itself. Kind of looks like a pair of over-the-ear headphones, and that's kind of what it looks like when you actually wear this thing. So I'm going to pull everything out first. You have the device itself. This is the charging stand, and you have a USB cable. USB cable is type C on both ends, and it also has a USB type A adapter, which is really cool. Usually you'd have to purchase a separate adapter, or I mean, this is attached so you can't even lose it, so I think that's pretty cool. The charging stand is basically all that is just a stand, so it takes up a smaller footprint on your night table or whatever table you have it on. I'm going to set it down this way since I have an overhead view. You'll be able to see what it kind of looks like. So that's how it would sit, just like that. But it obviously it stands up like this instead. So it takes up a small footprint, right? The stand itself is kind of cool. It's hollow on the inside. It's got a little trap door. You can actually put money or small important documents on the inside, but really what it's for is routing the cable through the inside so you don't have a whole bunch of excess cable on the outside just dangling there. So let's take a closer look at the unit now. I might call this a headset a bunch of times. Just know that I'm talking about this. So on the top you have a power button. On the back side you got your USB slot, USB-C slot. These are fan vents here. These are intake vents on the sides. And you also have a couple of singular vents down here at the bottom. These plates are aluminum. I was wearing this today, so it's a little bit yucky. 2 aluminum cooling plates, and you have the fan units right here as well. Here is your mode button, which will go from cooling to artificial intelligence, that they call it, or automatic mode, and heat mode, and I'll show you all that here. You have a little pinhole that's for a microphone. That's because this device will also make and receive phone calls. And there's also a speaker somewhere in this, and I'm not sure where the speaker's at. But the speaker is also for hearing calls, and you can also play music through this via your Bluetooth. My first impressions when I picked this up is it's definitely got some weight to it. It definitely feels high quality, very premium, and it feels very well built. It feels like something that's really expensive. You wouldn't want to drop this thing on concrete or anything like that. There is some flex to it, which is what it's supposed to do. So you got a small neck, you got a large neck, and it's very secure fit. I can tell you from my own experience. I was sweating today, and I put it on while I was sweating, and it was locked in. It wasn't going anywhere. It didn't even, kind of shift sideways or anything like that. So definitely a secure fit. So let's get right into the operation of this. So I'm going to turn it on right now. Just hold on the power button. You might have heard the vibration. There's a little vibration on here, and it's showing you for the blue halo that it's a cool. It's in cooling mode. Here is the color LED screen, and it's touch sensitive. Okay, so you see that it's in cooling mode because you see a snowflake and it says cooling right here. Down here on the bottom right, you have the battery percentage. Over here you have the outside ambient temperature. Top left you have your heart rate monitor, and then on the top right you have your step counter. And these are also quick buttons that you can push to see more detail. And that'll show you your steps. And it's already logged my steps for today. Okay, and you can also swipe to the left. That will show you a more detailed version of the heart rate monitor. And again, your step counter. This is your what the temperature is set at and what the ambient temperature on the outside is. Right now this is in Celsius. Unfortunately, there's no way to change this from Celsius to Fahrenheit on the unit, but in the app you can do that. So here you have a couple of presets. So you have workout, health. Those are going to be set specifically to cool or heat in specific ways. You can tap on this weather and it will show you the current weather, the ambient temperature of wherever this is located, whether it's inside or outside. This is something I didn't know that it would do until just now. So it's showing me the forecast. That's pretty cool. I didn't know I could see the forecast on here. It looks like a 7-day forecast. So that's real neat. Okay, and then the next icon is going to be your settings. You can adjust the sound volume. You can turn on off the vibration. You can adjust, these are different, a couple more different presets for sedentary. So if you're sitting stressful, it's going to help you get some stress relief and sweating. You also have an energy saving mode to preserve the battery life. It's going to show you if the Bluetooth is connected or not. Currently, right now, it's not. There's also a wear detection feature. So if you take this off, it's not going to continuously run. I have that activated right now, but I'm going to turn it off just for the demonstration. Your display time is going to be basically your display timeout. It's going to go from 5 to 60 seconds. And then you also have your system information, your firmware information, to know if it's going to need a firmware upgrade, your energy saving mode, and what language you want. I already have all this preset, so I'm not going to need to go into that. So if you want to change the function on the unit itself, what you can do is press. It's going to be on and off real fast, but you press on the screen, you'll hear a click, just like that. And here you can adjust the fan speed. And it will also give you an audible tone and a vibration. And you can also adjust the temperature. To change the mode, all you have to do is hold this mode button down for about 1 second. And you see now that changed to AI. You also get another vibration and another audible tone. You push that, you can still change the settings here. Now the halo is white. Push it again, that's going to bring it into heat mode. That changes the halo to red, and now you're in heat mode. And you can change, you can get a little bit of fan, but it's not full blast. That's a safety precaution. Again, this is all in Celsius on the device itself, but in the app you can actually change it to show you in the app Fahrenheit or Celsius. Okay, so now I'm back in cooling mode, and now you can hear the fan kick back up. So I'll lower that down. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the OS for the app. Here we go. Okay, so we're back in. Here's the app right here, Matara. Looks just like the little logo on the box. It's going to connect to the Bluetooth of the device. And here you see everything laid out. Now, when you get this, you may need to do a firmware update. And I had issues with the firmware updates when I first got this. There has been an app update since that time, and I have no more issues with it. So everything's working fine. The only problem I did have, which really wasn't a problem, was I did a firmware update and the app was telling me that it did not go through when it really did. And the way you can confirm that is just the way I showed you, that you can check on the device itself, this under the system info menu under firmware, and that'll tell you what the current version of the firmware is. It should be 0.0.14, not 0.0.7. Okay, so let's get back into the app right here. So we'll start from left and go to the right. So the left column, you're going to have your temperature that you have set the device itself at. The second column that I'm moving up and down right here is going to be the fan speed. It can go from 0, which is not really 0, but it's very minimal. You can't really even feel it, but it's circulating, all the way up to 100. And there you hear it going to 100. It might sound loud, but honestly, I've had one, a neck air conditioner before. That was a cheap $20 Amazon one, and it was 3 times louder than this. This green circle is going to be your battery life indicator. So right now I have 30% of battery left. The next one down, the half circle that's blue, or the 3/4 circle that's blue, is going to be your temperature settings. The chain links are going to be your the device and how it's connected and the MAC address. And then you have your power button just down below that. And then down at the bottom, you have the 3 columns for cooling mode, auto mode, and heating mode. And if you swipe up on any blank space, it's going to give you some more presets. Silent, which turns off the fan mostly, but still functions the cooling pads. You have hot pack, cooling first, which is going to be the priority. Battery life first, which is a battery priority. Sedentary relief, which is going to again introduce some presets for cooling or heating. Stress relief and muscle relief. Muscle relief. Now, upon talking to some of the technical support team, I made a suggestion that they introduce a massage feature, because this has a vibration function. It would be neat if, with muscle relief, it's going to increase some heat to relieve muscle tension, but also in a future update, hopefully they'll implement a continuous vibration for that, because that will also help stimulate blood flow. Okay, we're going to get out of that. We're going to go over to smart wearables here. And this doesn't display all the time, but thankfully today it popped in right away, which is going to be your weather, your multi-day forecast. The step counter here, today I went 1.35 kilometers, which is almost a mile, which is pretty accurate. And my heart rate, I'm not wearing the device right now, but my last known heart rate was 81 beats per minute, and that was right after work, right after I got done working. So it was higher than at resting. We go over to me, and that's going to bring up where you can actually create an account through Ranvoo by putting in your email and selecting a password, creating a user account, and you have an instant online chat to the technical support team. And it will show you that as well. Well, it did before, but I don't remember where it was. His name is Jack. He is very awesome. In fact, it's the best customer support I've ever had out of any product I've ever used. Let me say that again. The best customer support out of any product I've ever used, hands down. He's been very patient. He's been very open to my suggestions. And that's not common with other companies. They'll brush you off. If you tell them you have a firmware issue, it'll be on their backlog. These guys were very quick to implement fixes for the issues that I was having. There's 3 dots in the top right hand corner of the screen. That's going to bring you to your settings, where you can change the name of the device. You can select wear detection on or off. You can change the screen display brightness and the screen's timeout again, just like I showed you in the on the unit itself. The screen brightness on the outside, if you're wearing this on the outside, is going to need to be 100%. On the inside, you can bring it down, but in order to see that 1.9-inch LED screen in pure daylight, you're going to need to bring that up all the way. Your unit of measure from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you can change that, and it only shows it in the app. It doesn't actually display it on the device. Hopefully, again, that's going to be another firmware update to where it corresponds with what's being shown on the app itself. The next one down, you have sound and vibration. So you have a voice reminder, and you can have vibration on or off. And then you have instructions, which will basically show you how to operate the unit. You can select your language. Here's where it's going to tell you if you can check for firmware updates. It'll tell you right away if it's current or not. Your software upgrade, it'll tell you that it's the latest version. And then here's the contact us that I was just trying to figure out. It's jack@ranvoo.com or support@ranvoo.com. Jack has been my go-to guy, and he's primarily the reason I've chosen to do this review. Okay, so now you can hear the fan on. I'm going to go ahead and hit the power button and you'll hear it turn off. Okay, so that's the app itself. So now I'm going to put it on and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like and describe to you how it feels.
Okay, so we're back. Let me put this on so you can see what it looks like. Goes around the back of the neck just like that. And with my beard, from the forward view, you can't even really see that I have it on. From the side view, it looks like I'm wearing a set of over-the-ear headphones, just wearing them around my neck. Doesn't really look goofy at all, in my opinion. It's not real bulky, it's not real heavy. I have good range of motion. And it's not going to come off. Like I'm shaking my head to where I'm dizzy and it's not coming off. So you don't have to worry about any of that. Let me turn it back on. I felt the vibration and right away I feel the cooling of the fan. Now what I'm going to do is take it back off so I can see what I'm actually doing. And I'm going to turn the fan all the way up. I'm going to turn this temperature all the way down. 16 degrees Celsius, whatever that translates to in Fahrenheit. And right away, where I feel the air is going to be on the back of my ears, kind of on the back side of my head, down on my neck a little bit, and on the top of my, the back of my head, on the bottom section. The cooling plates feel like a cold towel, maybe that just came out of the freezer. It's very, very cool. Like I said, I wore this earlier today and it made a big difference in how I was able to cope with the heat of what I was doing. So yeah, feels really nice, really comfortable. I can turn the fan down if I want to, but being outside working and it was a little bit breezy, this was perfect. 100% would be perfect. Let me change the mode. I'm going to skip AI. I'm just going to go straight into heat mode. Nope, I think I went to cooling again. So I think that's heat mode for sure, because now I can feel it warming up already. Takes about 3 to 4 seconds to feel the change in temperature, and maybe about 6 seconds to actually, now I'm feeling a change in the heat. It's hotter than my skin, but it's not uncomfortably hot. I don't know what I have it set at, but I'm going to turn it up all the way. Which is up all the way already. I'm going to turn the fan on just a little bit so I can get some airflow, and that's warm. It's like a warm compress. This would be really good if you have a pinched nerve in your neck and you need some muscle relief, or you just want some heat to relieve that sharp pain. This is going to do the trick right here. This would even help if you're cold. If you're just a cold person like my wife, if she was to put this on right now, she would definitely like it. I might not ever get it back. So I'm going to go back to the cooling. Boom, right there. 5 seconds. It's a neutral temperature on those plates. I'm starting to feel it cool down again. Ten, 15 seconds and it's an ice box again. Okay, so enough looking at my ugly mug. Let me grab this camera, put it back in position, and I'll give you my final thought.
Okay, so we're back in one more time. So, my final thoughts for this thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, as far as quality goes, and as far as usability goes, and as far as just making life a little easier to deal with when it gets hot, I would give this a 9.9, which is a definite, you need to buy this. Not because it's going to help me out, not because it's going to help the company out, but because it's going to make you feel better. If you have a hard time dealing with heat, say in your forge, say at your job, putting this on is going to help you cope with that much easier. If you have a hard time dealing with the cold, maybe you live in Michigan where it snows a lot, or Oregon where it rains a lot and it's cold a lot, and you know, you want an extra layer of warmth somewhere, this is going to help with that. Maybe you work in an office and you have to have one of those personal heaters down by your feet. Those are super dangerous because those don't have a safety off protection, and those cause fires. This would be closer to the brain because it would be on your neck, so it's going to give you those signals of comfort a lot faster than having something at your feet, getting your feet hot and sweaty. It's just not a good thing. This would definitely help you with that. Again, Jack was nice enough to ask me to become an affiliate, so I have an affiliate link. So if you purchase this, I get a little kickback from it. But I also have a discount code that I'm going to include, which will save you about 35 bucks, 10% off of this product. So click that link and use that code, and you'll save a couple bucks on there. And I would really appreciate it. So again, you might ask me why I chose to do this review. Simply because, again, I have a hard time dealing with heat. So this is going to help me a lot when I'm forging and when I'm working. So I believe in this product. I believe that there's a lot more that they can do with it without changing the actual form factor of it, just by implementing some firmware and software changes. For example, with the heart rate monitor, they could make it to where you enter your height, your weight, your age, and then the system itself will figure out what your resting heart rate should be, what your standing heart rate should be, and what your active heart rate should be, and it would send you an alert, whether it's through the device or through the app, if your heart rate is too high. That could potentially be a life-saving function on that. There is still a couple of bugs that I feel need to be worked out. For example, there's a few words still showing up in Chinese, even though you select your language for English, both in the app and on the device. The imperial measurements, let's get those to standard English for us that live in the United States. If we select English on the app, it should be translated to this device. The other thing that I kind of have a small complaint over, and I've already spoken to Jack about this, is this chintzy pouch. Now, it will provide some scratch resistance, some scratch protection, but I would prefer to have a molded soft case. Some of the other units in this style and within this price range come with molded cases. And that's just going to give you more shock protection, more protection for when you travel with this device. And it's just going to be an overall protection over the investment that you've made. So I've talked to Jack. They're going to see what they can do. It might be an available additional purchase. Probably not for very much money, but he's going to look into seeing what they can do for it. So At least that's promising. For 350 bucks, I would expect something a little more than the little bag here, but it is what it is. One thing I didn't really talk about was the audio for the phone and for the music. Obviously, this is not an audio device. This is not a calling. This is not like your Bluetooth headset or your Bluetooth earbuds where you can play music and where you can receive and accept calls and the call quality is high and the music quality is high. There's no EQ. There's nothing like that. There are play, pause, fast forward, and rewind on the touchscreen that I did not show you for controlling the music. And there's also volume. But the speaker itself is not tuned. It's not very strong. But that's something that's definitely going to need to be improved. And I'm confident that they will do something with it. As far as the charging stand goes, I think it would be pretty cool if they offered a stand that looked similar to this, or at least that mounted the headset or the device similar to this, but it was a wireless charger. I think they would have to change some of the hardware on the inside, so maybe that would be the AICE4 or maybe the AICE3 Plus. But wireless charging definitely be a positive thing, but you might not get the 20-watt charging with that. You might get 15, but that's still not. So anyways, that's about all I have for you guys today. If you got something out of the video, again, click that link and make that purchase real quick. If you don't think it's for you, maybe you know someone who could benefit from it, and share my video with them. But if you got something out of the video, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, and if you were so inclined, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Every subscriber encourages me to make more videos, and it just helps me to know that I'm doing a good job. So anyways, that's all I got. Until next time, guys, get out in your shop and make something. Take care.